Hello everyone, this is Music is a Journey and I'm Peter Scove, and this is the last video of the year, 2023. I actually did want to do this. I wanted to do a recap of the year. There are a few things I wanted to say and wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it or not, but hey, I found the moment. Here I am. So, 2023. Lovely year it was. A couple of things to think about. Back in the spring, I was very excited when I saw that I hit 666 subscribers. That was kind of a surprise, but I did a quick little, a short video saying thanks for 666 subscribers. However, by the end of August, or sometime in August, I hit 800, which was kind of a surprise. And I thought, I guess I'm going to have to make some plans for when I hit 1,000. And then right in my busy year-end schedule, I just suddenly hit 1,000. I looked one day, it said 999, and the next day it said 1,000. And it said who my 1,000th subscriber was. I considered naming him, but then again, maybe he wants to keep his identity secret. So anyway, we're now over 1,000. That's pretty amazing, because when I finished 2018, my first year, when I finished it, I had something like 57 subscribers, so yippee-yay. But one thing I noticed this year is that after I got connected with the vinyl community people, I think a lot of people started channels this year, or within the last year anyway, it seems. Because a lot of people I've been hearing about, they were getting to 200 subscribers or 300 subscribers and moving rather rapidly, so connecting in the vinyl community. As you know, I am not a vinyl person, although I do actually have vinyl, but I am a music lover, as are many people in the vinyl community, if not everybody. So, what's another thing then? The big steps for me this year. I wanted to tell briefly about my journey, if you care. So I started out the year bringing home a lot of the CDs that I had ordered at the end of last year, which were 2022 releases, and I think I picked out 12 albums, and I think I have most of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's right. I got 9 out of the 12. So one was Black Braid. This is a Native American black metal guy. I got Elder's Innate Passage. I didn't realize that I actually knew who Elder was. I had another one of their albums I wanted to get for a long time, which I gave up on getting, but now I think I want to get it. I really like this album. This was great. Friend, All the Pretty Days. I got this one I wasn't planning to get it, but then I found if I ordered this with another CD, the shipping cost was spread over 2 CDs instead of being lumped all on one, so I got it anyway. So this has been an interesting album. I can't say it's like a favorite, but it is very good. The Tangent, Songs from the Hard Shoulder, surprisingly good for my taste. I do have only one other Tangent album, and yeah, they do pretty excellent work. Miles from Nowhere by Jonas Lindberg and The Other Side, quite liked this one. Wilder Run, Epigon. This is a progressive metal band. I actually like their gentler moments. They do gentle moments really beautifully. Spirit World, Death Western, had some really excellent, interesting points, and some other ones I'm kind of like into or not, depending on my mood. I did a review of this album, though. I like the kind of old style, like Western electric guitar sound that they use. I wish they'd used it a bit more. This is Vital Spirit, and this is 2 of the members of Wormwitch, which are one of my favorite Vancouver bands. I actually do prefer Wormwitch more than this one, but I was happy to be able to get a hold of this. And Sadist. I don't remember what this is called now. Sadist, Fire Scorched. Interesting death metal band, but kind of melodic death metal with some traditional metal and then some other things that make it unique. So that was an interesting album. So those were 9 of the 12 that I picked out. The ones I didn't get, I forget what they are. Okay, so that's how I started my year, with those. Then, of course, this year I did my first 10 albums in the history of a band series, where I covered, I think, 12 bands, 12 or 13 bands, and one of the bands I covered was Uriah Heep, and Uriah Heep released their 25th album this year. I talked about it in my last video. At the beginning of this year, I had, I think, 7 Uriah Heep albums. Salisbury, Look at Yourself, Demons and Wizards, Magician's Birthday, Firefly, Abominog, and Sea of Light. Those were the 7 Uriah Heep albums I had. They released their 25th album this year. I now have 22 Uriah Heep albums. I don't have High and Mighty, which I'd like to get, but it's pretty expensive to track down. And Conquest and Equator, I don't think I need. But it's been really cool to get familiar with more of Uriah Heep's discography, and as I said in my last video, their last 5 albums, you could put together a really awesome playlist. Okay, after Uriah Heep, where did I move? I also covered Blue Oyster Cult at the beginning of the year and decided to pick up a couple of more albums. So now the only one I don't have is the Curse of the Hidden Mirror, I think. That's the only Blue Oyster Cult album I don't have. And Cultosaurus Erectus and Fire of Unknown Origin, I was not as hot on those, even though I know they're a couple of their biggest albums. But Mirrors, I really liked the sound, and I realized it was because I had this, high definition quality recording of it. So I decided to get Cultosaurus Erectus and Fire of Unknown Origin on that same remastering thing, the same high definition thing, and they sounded great. So I would kind of like to go back and revisit some of their older albums, which I also like, but I probably would like even more with improved sound quality. So Blue Oyster Cult, I was into them for a little bit. I really wish they would do Revolution at Night like that. I think it would sound a heck of a lot better. Oh, let's see, where did I go after BOC? I also covered Black Sabbath's first 10 albums, of which I did not have Sabbath Bloody Sabbath on CD. I used to. But I sold it off thinking that I was going to get it on the better quality reissue, and I hadn't. I didn't have Sabotage. I'd actually never heard Sabotage before, except for 2 or 3 songs from a compilation. I'd never heard Technical Ecstasy before, and Never Say Die I used to have on cassette. So yeah, I picked up those 4. I was kind of interested in the Tony Martin era Black Sabbath, but they're all really expensive to get. So yeah, maybe if they release them sometime. I did a video on Bruce Fairbairn, the Canadian producer who did albums like Motley Crue, Janai. Janai, that's Japanese, not Motley Crue. Bon Jovi and Aerosmith were some of the big ones anyway. So I picked up a few extra albums like Loverboy's first 2 albums. I wanted to get Van Halen's Balance, haven't got it yet, still in the shopping cart. Was considering Kiss's Psycho Circus, but I've heard so many negative things about it. And I'm not a huge Kiss fan, I might leave that one off to the side. But yeah, it was cool to pick up a few extra things that Bruce Fairbairn had been involved in. Who else there? Blood Ceremony, good gravy. So Blood Ceremony released their 5th album here in the spring. I got it in the summer finally, and then I just totally went all out for Blood Ceremony. Only 5 albums, that was pretty easy. I already had 3 of them. So yeah, I picked up the last 2, the new one and one of the older ones, and then I was just really immersed in it. I was making playlists. I was even listening to it while cooking dinner, which I never do. I was so into Blood Ceremony. And then just before I could finish being into them, I had to do a video for the first 10 albums of Styx, and shortly after that, Judas Priest. So because of that, I had to move on, and then some albums I had ordered before the Blood Ceremony albums arrived started arriving, and so I just kind of got pushed off Blood Ceremony, and I haven't been able to go back. And I think if I tried to, I might not be in the same mood as I was at the time. I might just not sink in as deeply as before, so that's kind of a shame. So what I'm doing now, the artist I'm really into now, I'm not ordering anything new. I'm just gonna let this run its course. I just would feel much better that way than kind of forcing myself onto the next stage by ordering more stuff. But after Blood Ceremony, let's see here. Yeah, so a lot of these albums I had ordered were thrash metal albums by 80s thrash metal bands. And I talked about that in the previous video as well. There was Overkill and Metallica, their new releases. But I also picked up, well, let's see, it's sitting right back here. There was Exodus, Persona Non Grata, which I really liked. What did they have? Blind Guardian, not thrash metal, power metal, and speed metal. But I really liked that one. Saxon, of course, not thrash metal, but that was also another old band I used to listen to, picked up their latest from 2022. Testament, just really felt I had to get another Testament album, and we'll be doing that a little bit more maybe in the new year. So those were some of the ones that I picked up there, so I was really into that, as well as thrash, some of the old like tech death bands or newer releases by death bands, tech death, like Archspire and Cryptopsy and so on. So yeah, I was kind of into the more heavy mood there for a bit. However, after that, I moved on to doing the first 10 albums of April Wine, and I realized there were a couple I didn't have, Frigate and Attitude, so I picked those ones up to complete my studio collection. Oh, Walking Through Fire as well, which I actually liked better than I thought, in spite of the 1985 production. So I settled into April Wine a little bit and did... I did a ranking of April Wine albums, which is a very rare thing. I also picked up a live album that had previously unreleased studio tracks, and I got this, April Wine The First Decade, because there were 4 previously unreleased studio tracks here as well. They were done during the Forever For Now sessions, which was, you know, an album that was supposed to be a Miles Goodwin solo album and not an April Wine album. So the style of the songs is not true to April Wine's usual sound, but I think of the 4, 3 of them I rather like, and 2 of them I think are actually good enough to put on a mixed playlist. So I think I've got all the available studio tracks now, because they don't have a lot of previously unreleased tracks appearing out there on compilations, even though I know there are some that are still missing. And of course, we lost Miles Goodwin earlier this year, December 3rd, so I don't know if that really means that's the end of April Wine, but certainly they hadn't recorded anything new since 2006, so April Wine, yeah. I got into suddenly a video on YouTube about a guy ranking, tier ranking, first wave of black metal albums, so suddenly I was into that. I got a stack, I picked up a bunch of new ones to add. So of course, I talked about it already, but there was like Master's Hammer, and Onslaught, and Bulldozer, and Tormentor. And you know, at this point, I was basically cutting myself off for the year, saying that's it, no more buying stuff. But I found Sodom here was available, had to get Creator because I do have a soft spot for them. Sabbath, I managed to get a hold of this one through online flea market, Volcano. So yeah, by now I was like, okay, really, really seriously, buy no more CDs. You are cut off for the rest of the year, dude. But what happened was, after that, I watched a video on Helix, Grant's Rock Warehouse. A couple of people were talking about Helix, and I thought, it's a band I never really got into, though I always liked, so I thought I should pick up a couple of Helix albums. So that was just a small little stopover in my journey. And then, really, that's it. No more, no more, no more. But, as I explained a couple of videos back, I suddenly got into Lieren. You know, and actually I only had a compilation CD of hers, but I knew her from the 1980s, so I heard her recent albums and just loved them. Her last 4 studio albums, not the Christmas one, but the other 4 studio albums, I've been just listening to selected songs from those over and over again now for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And of course I picked up her 80s stuff. I've found 2 albums from the 90s I never knew that she did, and actually I quite like those. But the big final one to come home here, this is her 2004 album Beautiful Things, which was part of her jazz period, but the previous album was jazz, like I said in the Lieren video. It's this, you know, bouncy, fun, doobity-doo, choop-bop-ba kind of jazz, right? But this one here is much more mellow and easy. There's a bit of kind of fun, cutesy type fun songs, but there are some really beautiful ones. One of the highlights is this Handcuffed to a Fence in Mississippi. The steel guitar on that just sounds like this old beat up metal box with strings on it. Such a cool sound. I mean, this is all acoustic album, so acoustic guitar or steel guitar, piano, upright bass, saxophones. It is such an interesting and cool album. There's a bit of like a blues, there's almost a country bit in one song, there's a bit of gospel type feeling in a couple of songs. And of course jazz, as I said. There are about 3 covers on here, and the rest are her originals along co-writing with someone else. So this has been just such a surprising album, and I've been so into it. But you can be sure I'm probably going to mention her again a little bit next year as well. So let's see here. I am looking forward to the new year. I have made a plan for 52 videos already. One video per week. I made a schedule. Um, and actually I had more ideas than that, but I'm trying to bring in some ideas that I've had sitting around in a notebook since 2018, 2019, ideas for videos I still haven't done yet, plus a whole string of new ideas, some new themes to go with. And one of the things also, I want to do some discographies, not the first 10 albums, but just talk about bands where I have a few or a lot of albums without having the complete discography, and Y&T is going to be one of them. I'm also going to take a look at Saga. Judas Priest have a new album coming out, so I want to do a ranking of their studio albums now that I have all of them, before that comes out in the end of March. Who else was it? Somebody requested I do a Devin Townsend video like I did for Voivod previously, and my Voivod videos keep getting comments. Like, people are still glad to watch them. So I really have to make the same kind of effort if I'm going to do one for Devin Townsend. But I don't have the last two Devin Townsend albums, so I should probably get those before I delve into that. So I don't know when that's going to happen. Just, it's on the board. So, yeah, I would like to say, shout out some names here, because this year, a lot of the new subscribers to me are people who either comment regularly or who are part of the vinyl community, and we, you know, cross paths or interact from time to time. Knowing these people has, given me the opportunity to participate in some threads or challenges, which has been really fun. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to these people here. So just randomly scribbled here. First of all, S&T Young, this guy, I think I might have known him from the year before, but he does a lot of, all his videos are talking about thrash metal, black metal, death metal, and he's a really nice guy, but he's got a healthy collection of CDs and vinyl, even cassettes, and he's got a lot of subscribers as well, a lot of views. Chris Profi, he came over to visit me after seeing my Voivod video, and then he gave a shout out to me in one of his videos. And Chris is also kind of a high profile guy out there. He's got a lot of subscribers, a lot of people watching his videos. So thanks to Chris giving a shout out to me, I got a few more subscribers through him, so thank you, Chris. One of these people was Steve at All the World's a Stage, and I think Steve has become one of the people I interact with most on YouTube. I try to catch as many of his videos as I can. He had this series on 5 years in a band and what albums they released in that 5-year period, which I thought was excellent. I loved watching those, as well as he also has some other videos very interesting that I enjoyed, and he often comments on my videos. So I think Steve has become a kind of YouTube buddy of mine, along with Chris there. During the Meanwhilest, this is a fellow off in Wales who is actually a photographer, and most of his videos are about photography, landscape and nature photography. So I have been enjoying watching those, but he also has done a few videos talking about his favorite music albums and groups, and he is one of those people who watches and comments on most of my recent videos. So really great to get to know you, sir. In case you're watching this one as well. Yeah, it's a real great pleasure to get to know all these people. I really like this, being able to connect with people on something we have in common, and even if our opinions differ, I don't care. It's just great to know these people. Someone, Damnable Reverend. This guy actually used to play in a kind of first wave style black metal band. He's commented on a number of my videos. We've had some comment exchange. I actually checked out his band. I think it's called Demontage. Like montage, but demontage. So if you're interested, do check him out. They are on YouTube. Who else do I have here? David Goodship. I don't think he actually has any videos, but he's just a regular commenter on my videos, and he recommended Manila Road is one of his favorite bands. So I only had one, so I picked up another one, and I'll probably have to check out some more Manila Road. I have a few more that I have an eyeball on. Let's see here. MGK Boston. He's a Canadian guy in Boston who's always talking about his record collection, but also interesting videos showing pictures of actual photographs of people and things. So usually his videos kind of take you through a little bit of a journey before he sits down and starts talking about whatever he's picked up. Oh gosh, Jakob, of course, Jakob's music channel in Denmark over. It's been great to see him. He does a lot of really short videos, like 3 to 5 minutes long, just showing what he's got recently, and it's a wide variety of stuff, mostly metal, but also covering some pop, some like 80s stuff, and some more recent stuff. And he picked up a Cryptopsy album. I was very glad to see. Good choice there, Letty. So, Jakob's music channel. He was fighting to get over 200 subscribers, and he did it. So, congratulations to you. He has a thread going right now. Show albums by bands starting with the letters of the alphabet that he gives. And I have not had a chance to jump onto this one, and I think we're already up to probably around S and T, somewhere around there. So, I would really like to participate. I need a bit of time for that. So Jakob, Mega Jeff's Rock Hard Vinyl. I think I participated in a thread of his. We've had a couple of exchanges. Ben Rankins in Australia, another cool dude. I think we've done a lot of like viewing and commenting on each other's videos recently too. Young LP Lovers, very nice guy who talks very passionately about the music he's into and plays short samples of his vinyl. Mike Vinyl Spiral, just a cool guy over there in southern part of England who is into a lot of 80s punk rock, 70s, 80s punk rock from his youth. Oh geez, who else do I have here? Berkshire Mike, who is I think off in Scotland. I've written another one down here. It looks like it says vinyl something, but I can't actually read my scribbles. So there's probably someone out there I'm trying to give a shout out to, and I've forgotten who it is. Vinyl Monkey. Is that the guy? No, he's on the other page here. Oh well, all right. Sorry, there's somebody I'm forgetting. Chris at Record Talk participated in my thread, and I think we've watched a couple of each other's videos. Stefan73 over in the Netherlands. Vinyl Monkey, and you know, just going through my subscriptions, I found there are a lot of people, I don't even remember who they are, but I know that they're part of this vinyl community thing. So anyway, stuff's falling down. I wanted specifically to give a shout out at least to the people where I've had some exchange with. Thank you so much for building my subscriptions, and also, more importantly, just interacting with me on the internet. It's been great fun talking about music and so forth. Yeah, and I think that's enough of the shout-outs and everything for this year. So just a big thank you to everybody who watched my videos, anybody who liked, people who commented. Love it. You've all been great. And I look forward to just, yeah, seeing videos of you folks out there in the new year and seeing your comments on my videos in the new year. And of course, I look forward to making new videos in the new year. Thank you, everyone. Have a great New Year's and have a wonderful 2024. See you on the other side of the calendar. Yeah. Bye, folks.